and welcome the arrival of the President of the General Assembly of the United Nations, His Excellency Mr. Dennis Francis, and offer him the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by expressing sincere appreciation to the group of friends for organizing this meeting on the occasion of the International Day for Multilateralism and Diplomacy for Peace. I commend the reaffirmation of this convening of commitments to the Charter of the United Nations and to the extraordinary value of multilateral diplomacy and dialogue as a means of resolving disputes peacefully. As we grapple with today's interlinked crises, from conflict and climate change to poverty and inequalities, food insecurity and the soaring burden of debt affecting several countries in the global south, one thing is clear. Today's global challenges are too great for any one nation, big or small, to handle alone. Their sheer scale, depth, and breadth is unprecedented and, in some cases, a real existential threat. The confluence and magnitude of the problems confronting us has indeed greatly magnified the interconnections between our societies across the globe. As President of the General Assembly, I remain resolute in my conviction that multilateralism and global cooperation, firmly rooted in the United Nations Charter, offer the best hope for conquering the adversarial forces at play and channeling their destructive energy wisely towards the common pursuit of a more just, more prosperous, and resilient future. From the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the Paris Agreement on Climate Change to the landmark Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, the arsenal of multilateral instruments have engendered transformations over the years, mobilizing nations and stakeholders of all kinds to act in the shared interests of people and the planet. At the same time, we must, however, be realistic. We know that multilateralism in its current form is under severe strain. The Security Council, in particular, a key body entrusted with primary responsibility for the maintenance of international peace and security, is in urgent need of reform. The aggression against Ukraine in violation of the UN Charter and the painful deadlock prolonging humanitarian catastrophe in the Gaza Strip are among the stark reminders of the devastating human sacrifices wrought by inaction by the Council. They lay bare the formidable challenges to our multilateral system, as evidenced by the accompanying erosion of trust both among member states and within our institutions. You, the member states, have committed to the purposes and principles in the Charter, including sovereign equality of all members, to refrain from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state, and to settle international disputes by peaceful means. Excellencies, across the United Nations, our actions must respond to our commitments. As President, I remain committed to the established practice of monthly engagements with the Presidents of the Security Council and the Economic and Social Council as opportunities for close cooperation and to identify areas of complementarity. I likewise, as I have said before, offer the good offices of the Presidency of the General Assembly to any nation or leader desiring assistance in resolving a conflict. More broadly, the veto initiative has enabled the General Assembly to to step up when decisions in the Security Council are vetoed, an important step forward in the collaboration and accountability between these two principal UN organs. The Peace Building Commission stands as another area of further cooperation, considering its important role as an advisory body to the General Assembly. I am eager to see this role expanded, including through regular interactions with its chair and its General Assembly focal point. Through the informal GAIAP dialogues, permanent representatives have shown willingness to break down silos in search of breakthroughs on topics from the future of UNRWA and the legacy of slavery to the MVI and the General Assembly's role in conflict prevention. Indeed, across the organization, member states are also actively engaged in 15 negotiation processes, among them being the Summit of the Future, where world leaders are expected to forge a new consensus on how to reshape multilateralism for the benefit of all. For the benefit of all. I am pleased to see some of the co-facilitators among you here today. In each case, from the declarations we forge to the daily discussions in the conference rooms like this one, our work must translate into more than words on paper. They must make our world safer, healthier, more inclusive, and more sustainable for the 8 billion people looking to the United Nations for survival and indeed for progress. I urge member states to view our collective efforts in a positive way and to work unrelentingly towards robust, sustainable, and impactful solutions. A multilateral contribution to global solidarity will also require acknowledging our diverse voices and, beyond these walls, also recognizing that support from civil society can make it easier for member states to generate meaningful impact on the ground. Engaging these stakeholders does not diminish the intergovernmental nature of our work. Rather, their voices and views provide inputs, useful inputs, to your deliberations. Excellencies, in closing, let me underscore that in many ways we see that multilateralism can, and indeed does work, but it can work better, and it must work faster to ensure that global challenges do not outpace our global unity. On this International Day of Multilateralism for Diplomacy and Peace, let us all recommit to prioritize dialogue and diplomacy over unproductive confrontation. Let us renew our sense of duty to those we serve, cited in the Charter as we the peoples. Let us keep our sights set squarely on the promise of securing peace, prosperity, progress, and sustainability for all. I thank you.
I thank the President of the General Assembly for his remarks.